Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while. Keith, MJKL Speedworks, Ratchet Reba. Not much work done lately. All right, off camera, I made some little 45-degree pipes to weld on the back of the core support there. I'm gonna go ahead and get those on. They're still hot, so I'm not gonna touch them for a minute. Just cut some 45s and some 45s and did a little bit of a bend right here to get it in the shape of the pipe that's on there. So give me a couple minutes to get the welder fired up. We'll get them burned on. There's one of the brackets mocked up, by the way. Just something in there. There's the other one I've already welded in and ground on a little just to get it somewhat flat. More grinding to do. Just a little something there. Brackets welded in. I'm melting. I think I'm done for the day. Welcome to the South. Alright, so the deal is, I work a lot in the summer. I fix air conditioners. So it's pretty much all I do all summer long is freaking work. So I don't have a whole lot of time to come out here. And what little time I do have, I like to try to relax when I can. If I get off at a decent time, like I did today, I get to come out here in the 94-degree, 88% humidity. It's like a fucking jungle. And try to get something done. Good news is, I bought a little something. So let's open up the box and see what it is. Alright, these are pretty easy to adjust. There's an indexing mark on the shock right here. See that little notch right there? I'm going to highlight that with a Sharpie. But when you push down on it, let me get a Sharpie real quick and I'll show you here. Little mark. It lines up with either one of these 3 points, which are regular, firm, and extra firm. And that references over to this sheet, which tells you on the rear shocks that regulars are 70-30, 50-50, 40-60. What that means is, upon launch, 70% compression rate and 30% rebound rate. So when you launch, well, here, I'll explain this a little better. Okay, so you can kind of see the car sits a little high right now. So as we're sitting at the line, trans brake on, two-step on, we let off the brake and let off the two-step, and this thing fully engages into power. The back of the car is going to sag down some. All right, it can only sag a certain amount. Too much, it will squat and reduce the amount of launch. Too firm, and it'll just hit the tires, spin, and we go nowhere. So you have to find the right balance. Every car's a little different. Foxbodies come with a factory 4-link. Now, they're not perfect, but they're a good starting point. So you combine this with the shocks I just got and the 4-link, you have a pretty good shot of getting off the line pretty decent. A lot of guys around the world have already done this. So I already shown you in another video the upper and lower control arms I got that are solid. They're tubular. They weigh about the same, only they weigh stronger. So basically, if I leave these on the regular setting, which is 70-30, the car will compress at a 70% rate and then slowly come back up at a 30% rate. And if I make them extra firm, it's going to compress at 40% and slowly start to push back up as I come down the track. Now, what some guys have figured out is that the 40-60 rate works out better for them because they've got really good at launching and really good at getting their settings down. And some guys have found out they need a softer setting to let the car really set down on the tires and hit them and get going. You know, we can play around with this as we need. So I'm not sure what the right setting will be. I'll probably start with regular and we'll go from there. Firm in the middle here is, we're in the middle setting. Firm, if you look on the sheet, is 50-50. So, you know, we could always start at 50-50 and work from there. But a lot of people with 50-50s just say, well, you know, you should go to one or the other. All right. Had a subscriber message me and offer me some parts that he had bought and decided not to use. So I said, sure, for the right price. What do you take? And he said, I'll take $50. So we have some 3-way adjustable shocks. All right, it's a couple days later. Took a couple days off, had some stuff to do. Sun's here, million things to go do. Anyway, I pulled the rear shock off. I want to show you the difference between the drag shocks that I got and the stock shocks that I got. So taking one off, we'll do a little comparison here. Okay, Monroe Sensatrack stock Foxbody shock. I still got the bolts on it from where I took it off. Yada yada. It's just 114 on top, and I think this is a 17 or a three quarter or something like that on the bottom. They barely held on with anything. So the whole point of this shock is to keep the car down when you hit a bump and stop the rear end from violently shaking back and forth with every single touch of a rock or a twig or a bump or anything. It smooths out the movement in the rear end. A lot of guys will run stock shocks on their car and they lower it. If you had a car that's been lowered, you know it lasts about 1,000 miles lowered on stock shocks. Shocks are done. They blow. You bust the seals out of the shock because they can't withstand the pressure of being lowered as much as they are, and blow the seals. So the whole point of this shock is when you compress it, it should move slowly. Slowly, always. These stock shocks that I have barely move. I'm talking about barely move. And watch how easy they are for me to compress. I should not be able to push that thing down with a little force like I just did. In comparison, I pull this drag shock out. I'll use two hands for this next part, and I'll show you how much more difficult it is for this one. Okay, first things first, it took everything I had to move this thing one hand width. That's how freaking firm these shocks are as compared to stock. So let me throw the old welding glove on the floor here so I don't mess up my brand new shocks. Right there looks good. Let's give this a little compression test. Oh, shit. That's about everything I got to get that to compress. That's on the extra firm setting, which is what it's on now. And then if you watch me try to remove this thing and pull it back apart, I'll show you real quick. Here we go. Shit. God almighty. The idea here is when this shock compresses, it does not want to just let it come flying back up, which is brilliant. This will greatly reduce the amount of bouncing the rear end does. Whenever we launch, we slam the gas pedal down, release the brake, the car is going to lean back. When it leans back, it will settle rather than bounce on the back end and try to go down the track like that. It'll just, boom, settle. And as we go down the track, it will slowly rise back up and level out, or actually give the car a little bit of a rake. A lot of 275X guys and Radio versus the World guys, if you'll watch when the cars go down to the end of the track, they're damn near lifting off the ground in the back end. That's how much pressure the shocks are pushing, which is awesome. They figured all that stuff out. It works great. I'm just kind of copying them. So hopefully you guys can copy what I'm doing now. So I'm going to put maybe one of these shocks on real quick, or maybe both of them, and we'll see how much different the rear end does right now. Because right now I can go over there, push the back bumper with my hand, and the whole car bounces like it's on pogo sticks because there's no shocks on it. So I'll put them on real quick, I guess. Okay, so before it would almost lift the back wheels up off the ground when it would bounce. So let's see, does it still do that with, I got both the shocks on now. It won't even bounce once. Yeah, I can't even get it to bounce. So car's fairly planted the whole time. Massive difference. So, I think for 50 bucks, that's pretty good, right? Me too. All right, here's the shocks on under the car. Simple as can be. Just a couple 19, those bolts are 19 millimeter or 3/4 inch. That's what I meant to say. Wrench one side, ratchet the other, or impact it. And up top here, there are a 15 millimeter on that side and a 15 millimeter on that side. I got it full of junk to try to weigh it down a little bit just so I could see better what the stance would be. I have all the tires sitting over here, you know, extras. I just want to put a little weight in it and kind of mimic what the cage would be like in there, because there's not a whole lot of stuff going in the car. You know, the cage and the seats. I mean, and me. That's it. So, I mean, I'm going to have to cut the springs, I think. It's just, it just sits too high. Whew, that's a mouthful. So, we'll get to that soon. I am absolutely melting out here. There's a storm moving in. I'm tired, boss. So, probably going to be it for the day. Strap this thing up and get it online. All right, I appreciate all the new subscribers. We're almost up to 140 now or something like that. I remember the first 2. That's awesome, y'all. I appreciate it. Hopefully we're learning together. I say that a lot. That's what it's all about. Put your junk on the street, get it running. So, shocks are on. I'll add that to the budget. I've got the front welded up where the intercooler is. Next, we're going to work on probably getting our wastegates welded on, our blow-off valve welded onto the aluminum, our intake air temperature sensor welded on, some other odds and ends that just haven't been wrapped up yet. Then we're going to order stuff for a fuel system, but I'm going on vacation first. Haven't been on a real vacation in quite a few years. Heading out of the country. We'll probably do a video about that. Anyway, here's some videos for you guys to watch. Thank y'all so much for everything. I really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.